Welcome back to Humans in 5. This week, we continue our New Orleans-themed episodes with an ode to one of the city's most notable exports, delicious, delicious donuts.
The city is famous for many different types of local Creole food specialties. However, beignets have become a key aspect of any tourist visit to the city. They come in so many varieties, and boy did we try to find and eat them all.
Donuts, like many other desserts, are found in some way, shape, or form in many different cultures. In fact, desserts are made of irresistible sugars and fats and exist almost everywhere, despite the fact that sweets are not strictly necessary for our diets. So why are we so drawn to sugars and fats in all of their magnificent varieties?
All of the foods we eat can be broken down into 3 components: sugars, fats, and proteins. All are necessary for our growth, development, and maintenance in balanced proportions. However, from a nutritional standpoint, sugars and fats are hard to resist.
Sugars and fats represent the most nutrient-dense elements of our diets. There's an enormous amount of calorie-rich foods full of sweetness and grease. So our body is somewhat hardwired to want to seek out sugars and fats since we get more bang for our nutritional buck out of these elements.
This tendency is based in our hunting and gathering roots. For our ancestors, searching for plants, hunting for animals, and collecting other resources represented somewhat time-consuming activities. As such, resources high in sugars and fats would attract our attention since we could get more nutrition out of a smaller package.
However, in our modern society of plenty, where beignets, cakes, and fried foods abound, our forager roots work against us. We still crave sugars and fats, but since they're so widely available, we often end up consuming way more than we really need. Our wants and urges outpace our needs, and our society makes those urges easy to satisfy.
In general, our bodies find ways to regulate excessive sugar and fat consumption by storing the molecules that we don't burn through during our daily activities in some of our tissues. Everyone does this a little bit differently, hence why some people can eat huge amounts of sugars and fats with no real change in their bodies, while others start to pack on the pounds.
In some groups, the mismatch between what people eat and what their bodies become is exaggerated due to genetic mechanisms. Some people have had trouble acquiring resources for generations. Their bodies are consistently expecting a state of famine, and their metabolism changes to maximize the few nutrients they obtain on a regular basis.
When they have the chance to eat resource-rich foods, their bodies pack away those extra nutrients, so when they encounter a lean period, they can use internal fat and sugar stores to avoid starvation. This capacity is called a thrifty genotype.
When these individuals whose bodies are expecting lean times find themselves living in a society of plenty, their body's urge to store away food for later doesn't go away. The thrifty genotype becomes problematic because their bodies keep packing away nutrients despite the absence of famine conditions, leading to issues with obesity, diabetes, and other metabolic disorders that pose a large health threat.
So, among people who have this biological thriftiness, their genetic and biological history means that even if they eat a completely average North American or European diet, their body won't respond in quite the same way as everyone else. This goes to show that while obesity and diabetes may relate to lifestyle factors, our bodies can sometimes work against us to create an added challenge when negotiating the modern food availability menu.
So the next time you sit down for a tasty treat, savor the flavor, but remember, our bodies are still catching up after thousands of years of lean eating. You can have too much of a good thing, but a treat now and then isn't going to sink your battleship.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Humans in 5.
See you then!